Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members of the committee. It is usually an honor and sometimes a burden to be the chair of the Rhode Island Black, Latino, Indigenous, and Asian American Pacific Islander Caucus. And the reason why I say that is because I'm used to speaking quite forcefully and assertively, and today I actually have to present a pretty ambiguous position on behalf of my colleagues. As you may know, the caucus currently stands at 21 members, 14 in the House, 7 in the Senate. We're about 18% of both chambers. And we have not come to a consensus on this particular issue. While we take no stance on the bill in front of you today, what we do take a stance against is the status quo. We are not happy with the way that Leah-Bohr currently operates. And every single member would like to see something change. The degree of that change is what we are currently debating. By my count, there are at least 4 bills at play. The one in front of you right now, sponsored by our Senate President, a bill with full repeal, sponsored by Senator Mack, a bill that will be introduced this very afternoon by Rep. Batista, and a potential 4th bill that has been floated by Rep. Hull. And so I want to give a shout out to Joe Massino, our policy person here in the Senate, who is helping prepare a document that allows us as a caucus to compare and contrast what these bills do. The things that the caucus demands or would like to see are a bill that addresses the structural bias introduced by the very composition of the board, something that has been mentioned here. It is probably no surprise that people, and in some ways, pun intended, are not great at policing themselves. And the current composition of the board introduces that bias, and the current version of the bill doesn't go quite far enough for many of my colleagues. Second thing we like to see is a bill that separates kind of ticky-tacky allegations against members of law enforcement from the more egregious or serious concerns. Right now, those are all lumped into the same process. It is believed by the current bill that the changing of the suspension dates will address some of that. Another thing we'd like to see is the formalization of a reporting structure. And so that has been mentioned here. That is to some degree incorporated in this bill, and we're watching what the other bills do. So what I can say is that while the present bill does some of the things that the caucus would like to see, it doesn't do so necessarily to the degree that all the members would like to see. As I said before, what we can say is that we'd like to see something done, and we hope in the next few weeks, once we have time to study the other bills on the table, to come out with a more formal position. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any comments or questions for the senator? All right, seeing none, thank you.